So this is the Kudilar television channel being broadcast under the banner of Baby Angel Geronimo Editions. Geronimo is the world's bestest baby angel Geronimo. Born 10 years ago in New Zealand, baby angel Geronimo was lovingly raised by a woman called Leonie Walker. Then he was invited to join Helen MacDonald in South Gloucestershire in England. Baby angel Geronimo has been witnessing since arriving in 2017 in England. Baby angel Geronimo has been witnessing serial conspiracies, criminalities, plots, and programs of harassment aimed at him and aimed at Helen MacDonald, his mum, in South Gloucestershire. So baby angel Geronimo has been put through the kind of vilification, demonization, lying, defamation of character, and cruelty, falsehood that being, no being known on the records has been put through. And Helen MacDonald, who is an experienced carer for alpacas, the species to which baby angel Geronimo biologically belongs. Helen MacDonald is also a trained animal nurse and a caring person, conscientious person, law-abiding individual, upstanding citizen. When baby angel Geronimo arrived in 2017, out of sheer good faith and without suspecting any mischief, wrongdoing, let alone evilness on the part of DEFRA, Helen MacDonald volunteered to have baby angel Geronimo tested to see if he had any trace of any illness. But he wasn't tested. And baby angel Geronimo was only lied to and lied about. Helen MacDonald was lied to and lied about. And Helen MacDonald was defamed, demonized, mistrusted, and treated with contempt, disrespect. So the baby angel Geronimo witness is a witness to all the evil things that go on in the United Kingdom under the pretext of the state's agencies, and the state's employees and agents and holders of posts in the name of the state. If you look at in the wider kind of frame, if you look at what is called in human term, miscarriage of justice, miscarriages of justice. So the question say, what is an example of a miscarriage of justice in the United Kingdom? This is given a short answer. Justice system. In 1975, six men were convicted of bombing two pubs in Birmingham, which resulted in the deaths of 21 people. Now, that was part of the list of miscarriage of justice. Guildford 4, Birmingham 6, Maguire 7. In 1975, four Irishmen were wrongly convicted of carrying out bombings in Guildford on behalf of the Provisional Irish Republican Army, IRA, which resulted in the death of five people. The convictions were based on confessions extracted through violence by the police. And the men spent 14 years in prison before their convictions were overturned in 1989. Now, that was 14 years. 14 minutes would be too long. But their lives were stolen from them. Their peace of mind was stolen from them for 14 years. Helen MacDonald found out that instead of baby angel Geronimo being tested scientifically, truthfully, honestly, reliably, rationally, logically, caringly, baby angel Geronimo was treated as a suspect even before the tests. They had assigned to him a designation that he was infected when he did not have any infection. So the history of miscarriage of justice is recorded, published, and accessible in a misleading way as well, because it takes no account of the humanity of the victims. Well, let's say humanize baby angel Geronimo, sentient, and imagine baby angel Geronimo being told he was ill when he knew and he knows he is not ill. How, how to deal with that? Who are these people making that kind of assertion? On what basis? What rights have they got? They've got no rights at all, except that they're part of a gang that is given a respectable sounding name called the state, and various agencies that are given respectable sounding names and labels, when in fact they're gangs and gangsters. The Birmingham Six remains one of the most notorious miscarriages of justice in the British. Now, this item is on the website called lawcareers.net. So therefore their language is wrong because there is no such thing as British justice system. There is no British justice system. There is a judicial bureaucracy, but no justice system. So, all the occurrences of the term justice, like the Ministry of Justice, Department for Justice, and the Royal Courts of Justice, all the inclusions of justice are wrong, false, misleading, untrue, untruthful, corrupt, criminal. The Birmingham Six remains one of the most notorious miscarriages of justice in the British system. In 1975, six men were convicted of bombing two pubs in Birmingham, which resulted in the deaths of 21 people. However, it was later discovered that the convicted man had been coerced into making false confessions, and the evidence used against them was unreliable. After serving 16 years in prison, the convictions were overturned in 1991, and the men were released. Following this case, the Royal Commission on Criminal Justice, also known as the Ranchiman Commission, was set up to consider whether the current system for investigating miscarriages of justice was adequate. In 1993, the Commission published its report determining that the current system was inadequate and that a body independent of the government and the courts should be set up to investigate potential miscarriages of justice. Hence, an independent body was set up through Section 8 Criminal Appeal Act 1995. This body is now known as the Criminal Cases Review Commission. What is the role of the Criminal Cases Review Commission? The role of the Criminal Cases Review Commission is to consider and investigate potential miscarriages of justice and refer cases back to the Court of Appeal where it believes a miscarriage of justice has occurred. In the case of R versus Nunn, the UK Supreme Court stated that the CCRC acts as a safety net which individuals have exhausted all other appeal when individuals have exhausted all other appeal routes but still believe they have suffered a miscarriage of justice. Now, this is a completely, how shall I put it, opportunistic, corrupt critique of the miscarriage of justice. As I said, the website that I'm reading from is called lawcareers.net. So it's a careerist lawyers that are involved in the production of this particular document and website, which means that the case of the man who spent 17 years in jail for a rape he didn't commit. They've left this out from the list of the miscarriage of justice. So the man in jail for 17 years for rape he did not commit. The man who served 17 years in jail for a rape he did not commit has said he feels vindicated after he won further grounds to clear his name. Andrew Malkinson, 57. So he was 40 when he started that 17 years. Was found guilty of raping a woman in Greater Manchester in 2003, and the next year was jailed for life with a minimum term of 7 years. Now, what happened with him was that not only was the initial conviction and the trial and the production of the evidence, etc., not only were those things wrong as a collection at the commencement, but subsequently, at various stages, evidence continued to emerge that the man had been convicted wrongly and he'd been tried wrongly. Because the Court of Appeal in August quashed his conviction after fresh DNA evidence emerged linking another potential suspect to the same crime. He said, I feel vindicated by the court's finding that Greater Manchester Police unlawfully withheld evidence, denying me a fair trial and causing me wrongful conviction. Nightmare. Now imagine Baby Angel Geronimo being told all the lies, and imagine him being able to speak. Where, where could Baby Angel Geronimo start setting out his grievance, his outrage, his frustration at being called guilty when he was absolutely innocent, right from the word go? Secondly, they had rigged the test. Here, the Criminal Cases Review Commission itself has been exposed in Andrew Malkinson's case as not having bothered to look at the evidence. And he now asked for the chair of the Criminal Cases Review Commission, a woman called Helen Pitcher, to apologize and take accountability for the CCRC's failures. Cost me, that is Andrew Malkinson, extra years behind bars for a crime I did not commit. So for every day, for years, Helen MacDonald checked the evidence, checked the facts, checked the science, and made sure that she checked baby angel Geronimo. And she found that he was absolutely perfectly in the best health. And she was looking after him so that he would be in the best health. And then she looked at the various excuses, pretexts, and lies told her by the DEFRA and its agencies. And she found that they were lying, and she found that she could not turn to anyone within the framework of the state to express her grievance and get justice for her own traumatized experience for telling the truth about her baby angel Geronimo. So, this is not the description of a country which has got any trace of justice in the operations. This is the description of a country that is a wasteland, a darkness, a land of lies and denials and untruths, and cruelty and criminality predominate. So, baby angel Geronimo was defamed before he was demonized, and he was demonized and defamed with an object that was based on the conspiracy to commit any number of crimes against him in order to put a blame for an illness that he didn't have, demonize him, and condemn him for being innocent, for being in the best health. And the people who did that were themselves sick, sick in the head, sick in the mind. And they are the ones that should have been declared as having been ill, infected. And they are the ones who should have been put through a system, a process whereby they could be dealt with in a conclusive, definitive way, so that rest of society would be spared contamination and impact and effects of their sickness being in any way allowed to infect and affect the innocent people and the innocent animals and the innocent creatures. When the token coverage of the genuine protests and outrage of Helen MacDonald, when the token coverage in Fleet Street took place in 2021, one of the things that they reported apparently was the kind of so called march to Downing Street by supporters of Justice for Baby Angel Geronimo. I cannot stress it strongly enough because for hundreds of years in England, people have been murdered by the state under any kind of excuse and pretext. And the murderers of the state, of these innocent people, have remained without being held to account, remained on the record as having been correct in their murderous behavior. Compared to the human beings that have been murdered, there have been thousands, hundreds of thousands of animals, perfectly innocent, perfectly healthy, that have been murdered and massacred by the state in the United Kingdom. And as I said previously, there is no platform, there has not been any platform in the United Kingdom, the United Kingdom being the general name, which is a misleading name. Essentially, it is England because the numerical strength of the people that constitute the United Kingdom is actually based on the numbers that are really from England. So when these people were reported to have gone to protest on behalf of Baby Angel Geronimo, protest in and around Downing Street, 10 Downing Street, what did they, what was the maximum impact that they are going there would have? There would be no impact. There would be no impact, and there was no impact as far as the status of Baby Angel Geronimo as described by the criminals sitting as judges in the High Court and the DEFRA criminals and their agencies were concerned, because the protesters did not threaten the careers of anyone in power. Any of the criminals who made the decision, none of these criminals involved in the conspiracy to do serious damage to Baby Angel Geronimo was in the slightest put under any stress, any anxiety, let alone under any certainty of losing their careers, let alone their livelihood, let alone their lives. So the whole idea of going to Downing Street and being filmed and photographed, walking in and around the kind of vicinity of number 10 Downing Street, it was just a spin, it was just a kind of display to say that it would have any impact would have been an extreme exaggeration. It was a show that could not be rated as anything more serious than a childish prank. First of all, the people that were there were like these website producer, the low careers. These people that went there were really already morally, opportunistically, could professionally compromised. They were one way or the other deferential to the DEFRA criminals and to the government and to the agencies of the government. So they were not among the first to be mentioned as the political or constitutional legal or humanitarian challenge to the wrongdoers, the plotters that were plotting to do serious damage to the most innocent baby angel Geronimo. So these people are ignored as though knew they would be ignored. And the most that they could say, and the most that could be said about their stunt was that they staged a stunt. That's it. They did not criticize the criminality of the UK state. They did not criticize the criminality, cruelty, and evilness of DEFRA. So, therefore, they could be dismissed as a group of infants with no impact whatsoever. Similarly, most of the internet social media comments posted apparently in support of baby angel Geronimo in the year 2021, most of those were expressed by people who had no plan and had no conception of having a plan to remove the criminals from the posts in government. They couldn't have. Now, taking this all the way back to 1921 and the popular councillors who opposed the punitive rate rates being imposed on the poor people of Poplar. Those councillors who solidarized with the poor constituents declared that they would do anything to defend the constituents, the ward, the voters, to the extent that they said that they were prepared to go to jail, and they did go to jail. One of those councillors actually sadly died while serving the prison sentence. But that was the extent to which they actually took risk to their life, their safety, and everything. That would be the kind of thing that would be worth actually doing in support of and with solidarity with the baby angel Geronimo. But these people who did the posts on social media or who did the little walkabout in the vicinity of Downing Street a few minutes, by all accounts, it doesn't look as if they've been heard of the type of stand that was taken in Tower Hamlets, what is now Tower Hamlets, in Poplar by the Poplar councillors. Anything short of that, anything short of that would have been treated with the predictable contempt by the government. And anyone who has followed the timeline of the criminal career criminal career of somebody who thinks that he has unlimited impunity, total impunity from accountability for his criminality and cruelty and evil deeds. Anyone who has followed, carefully followed Boris Johnson's lies would know that he would, because Johnson was in post at the time, he would have nothing but contempt for baby angel Geronimo, and he would have nothing but contempt for any humanitarian extending that any sympathizer for baby angel Geronimo's rights in justice. So there was this person incumbent in the post of prime minister who was the leading cheerer of the criminals plotting to do serious damage to baby angel Geronimo. Then he got these media pundits like the son of Nigel Lye's son, Dominic Lye's son, making the most contradictory, unscientific, irrational, cruel, and evil, incoherent piece, mocking baby angel Geronimo and doing contemptible remarks against the people who had the temerity, according to the Dominic Lye's son, to show solidarity with baby angel Geronimo. And then you've got the likes of the midget, literally the midget, Ian Pissoff, who is the editor of the Private Eye, which otherwise boasts of being critical of Fleet Street because it runs a column called Street of Shame that is supposed to be about Fleet Street being the street of shame because it is synonymous with the location of the newspapers that used to be based in Fleet Street, hence the name Fleet Street. The private lie is supposed to have a kind of conscientious corner, saying that it is not rampantly criminal and cruel like the Fleet Street newspapers that it routinely appears to claim to be critical of. So this piece of also joined the likes of Dominic Lyson and became inseparable in terms of the contempt he showed for baby angel Geronimo and for Helen MacDonald and for others who solidarized with baby angel Geronimo and solidarized with Helen MacDonald and solidarized with the objectively independent, ethical, morally driven people who pointed out that the DEFRA had lied and had been lying against baby angel Geronimo. So, where do people go to seek a semblance of justice against this severe, huge wall of injustice? They cannot go to Keir Starmer because Starmer is the political murderer of the Labour Party, and as the time passes, even the likes of the Communist Party are forced to raised questions about Starmer and his unjust streak. But Starmer is not the only unjust one in the front bench team. There's a woman called Rachel Reeves, who is a wanton criminal, a racist, and a far right tool, and a stooge for the high capitalists who have installed her in the Labour Party in full knowledge that if the Labour Party or the shell of the Labour Party gets to be the post election government, then she would exercise a very powerful role, and she would be doing severe damage to the people who are disadvantaged, disenfranchised, discriminated against, deprived, denied, and all the rest of it. So, what we are looking at, this is an essay, the continuation of the essay called the Baby Angel Geronimo essay. Baby Angel Geronimo has been witnessing the daily degeneration of the UK state, where thugs are in control. For example, take the example of Idi Amin Dada of Uganda. When I was covering the so called Commonwealth Heads of Government Conference that was being held in London in 1977, it took place over a good week. Every few minutes, there would be a rumor in the press room, the media room, carrying the words to the effect that the latest announcement from Uganda by Idi Amin Dada said that he was about to arrive at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, which of course was a lie, but that's what he was pumping out into the media system. Now, Idi Amin Dada was widely reported as being a thug that was beyond all accountability. But it was taken also as a general kind of accepted position of the community. It was futile to behave in a way that was representative of conscientious action. But the experience of Helen MacDonald and the experience of Baby Angel Geronimo have shown that despite the exterior, the difference between the regime fronted by Idi Amin Dada and the regime fronted by Boris the congenital liar Johnson was not substantiated, but that they are very similar, which is a frightening thing for the whole population of the world. The most of the people in the world haven't got any power because the majority of the power is grabbed hold of and exercised, abused by the state, which represents a very, very, very small number of the population. So, all the injustices, for example, the man who was in jail for 17 years for a rape he didn't commit, all the injustices that are known about are allowed to remain unaccounted for, and the victims are really not there. The comfort that is not the same thing as his entire life, 17 years, being stolen from him. And then you've got the other organs of the state. And there is no chance, given the evidence that Baby Angel Geronimo has been gathering, there is not the slightest chance in a million years that justice would be done to Baby Angel Geronimo or anyone of his description who has been defamed, demonized, discriminated against, denied, obstructed, and lied about by people who are openly abusing their positions which they hold on apparent condition that they would not collective stand of ethics and so if you look at the number of people that have been quoted as having expressed even the most modest kind of sentiments at Baby Angel Geronimo being lied about by DEFRA, the list does not include the people who are supposed to be the councillors in South Gloucestershire or the elected members of parliament in Gloucestershire. So, what a contrast. If there were popular councillors, they would be up in arms and they would be prepared to go to jail to prevent the conspiracy, the murderous conspiracy against Baby Angel Geronimo. But they didn't. They didn't even mention. They didn't even make a statement in solidarity with Helen MacDonald or Baby Angel Geronimo at all. We shall be continuing that essay, of course, by highlighting and analyzing in this kind of way that I have been analyzing. Baby Angel Geronimo is the world's bestest witness and observer and commentator about the evil state of the United Kingdom. As measured by the behavior of the High Court, by the behavior of the County Court, by the behavior of the career solicitors, career barristers, licensed law traders, and as measured by the dozens of criminals who are actually careerists and who are one way or another attached to one aspect or one part of DEFRA or another. And they sprang into action and pretended to be supporters of Baby Angel Geronimo when they posted various things in support of apparent support of Baby Angel Geronimo and apparent support of Helen MacDonald. But in fact, they crowded the whole kind of platform and they created the misleading, false image that Baby Angel Geronimo was being supported by so many people expressing their support. What would they do? Would they say that they would risk going to jail? By physically standing between Baby Angel Geronimo and the planned horde of criminals, murderers that were lurking around, waiting to pounce on Baby Angel Geronimo. Did any of those sympathizers risk their safety? They didn't. And they wouldn't. And there was no early day motion in the House of Commons. Not one moved by the genuine supporters of justice, cause for justice for the most innocent Baby Angel Geronimo. So we shall be continuing in this way to dissect and actually expose the degenerate state of the United Kingdom, and we shall be doing so based on the experience of Baby Angel Geronimo, the innocence of Baby Angel Geronimo, and the perfect blessing that Baby Angel Geronimo is.